Do you see these guys? They're sitting around the table talking about their favorite Nintendo Power memories. Charlie likes the funny Howard and Nestor comics, while Sarah is more of a counselor's corner kind of girl. But poor Sam feels completely left out of the conversation. You see, instead of following the exploits of Nintendo, Sam subscribed to Sega Visions, Sega of America's bi-monthly Nintendo Power ripoff. First released in June of 1990, Sega Visions promised a new generation of magazine for anybody interested in the same kind of content found in pretty much every other magazine on the newsstand. Published 6 times a year, each issue ran between 60 to 150 pages, and featured the usual news, reviews, previews, and hint format found in magazines of the time. While not original, this was one of the few places fans of the Genesis, Master System, and Game Gear could go without being reminded that everybody else loves Nintendo. Although clearly tied to a major hardware company, Sega Visions attempted to appear objective. When they finally started publishing reviews in 1992, the magazine chose to only review third-party titles. Nintendo Power, on the other hand, had no problem giving their own game-size scores. But before you give Sega too much credit, they added this disclaimer suggesting they weren't going to be too critical of the third-party titles. Quote, "Unlike the ratings published in other magazines, you won't find any embarrassingly low ratings here. By the time the game has obtained Sega's seal of quality, it has already exceeded certain minimum standards." End quote. Oddly enough, Sega didn't exactly stick to this mantra. Between 1992 and 1994, Sega Visions gave very few games a score higher than 90%. Madden 93, Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego, Lemmings, Lakers vs. Bulls, Desert Strike, and Atomic Runner were among the magazine's highest-rated games, with many of those receiving just 85%. On the other hand, Double Dragon is Sega Vision's lowest-scoring game, receiving a terrible 40%. This was followed by Chester Cheetah with a 48%, and Andre Agassi's Tennis, Barcelona 92, Crash Test Dummies, Ernest Evans, and Sid of Valis all at 50%. The magazine's review average was just 68%, which certainly doesn't say anything good about Sega's seal of quality. In 1994, Sega decided to switch to a brand new rating system, which substituted Sonic the Hedgehog's head for the traditional star rating. Although a welcome change, it ultimately led to a confusing article that explained the new rating system by reviewing members of the Beatles, types of sandwiches, late-night talk show hosts, Rocky movies, and even dinosaurs. Beyond reviewing games, Sega Visions also looked at Sega's many innovations. They devoted a lot of pages to the Activator, VR helmet, Sega CD, and even the 32X. They were hopelessly optimistic about everything Sega did, even when it involved selling kids on horrible Sonic the Hedgehog costumes. And when they told me that most Sega Visions readers either own a Sega CD or are about to get one, I'm not sure if they actually believed it, or if they were just putting on a brave face. Speaking of brave faces, Sam can finally get in on the conversation now that his friends have stopped talking about Nintendo Power and moved on to discussing how disappointing Interstellar was. Hey, don't leave now! We're going to be talking about different magazines every single day between now and Christmas. That's 29 episodes looking back at classic game magazines. So don't forget to subscribe and check out those other videos. See you tomorrow!